Welcome into the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Today is Friday. It's pick day, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, for all you degenerates out there that like to get everyone's pick on games, hey, man, have at it. We're going to get after it this afternoon. Clemson and South Carolina doing their thing. We'll get into that. Also, we'll talk into a little bit about South Carolina's opponent, Florida, and Clemson's opponent, Louisville. What to expect from those two teams. Also talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's going on with the Florida program, that how things have kind of fallen off and how quickly Florida went from being a respectable thing into a, well, maybe not so much. We'll get into that. We'll look at all the games around the SEC and the ACC, and we'll take your calls today at 803-978-1832. Today's word, ladies and gentlemen, as I go back to my Sesame Street days, the word of the day is hypocrisy. And what do I mean by that? We have to go to the Tennessee football program, who yesterday said, we've included our investigation, our internal investigation. And you know what? We fired our head coach and told him, we're not going to pay you your $12 million contract because you got us in trouble. But our investigation says we don't deserve a bowl ban. Let's make sure that we put this out there. And I hate to rehash this for the folks that are from Tennessee and they look at it from a perspective of, hey, you know what? We should all just move along. And the SEC apologists, by the way, that are they want Tennessee to be back so bad. I mean, their little lower back tattoos with the SEC logo are on fire every time they hear Tennessee does this or does that, because they wanted to be back to the days where Tennessee was great. And let's make sure we understand something here. Not great enough where they're knocking off Alabama and teams like that, but I mean nationally relevant, not losing every conference game and struggling to beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt to stay out of the SEC East cellar. They want them very good on the viability front from a national perspective. So they're all doing the same thing. Okay? It's, hey, let's just all this under the rug. But the president of the university said basically, we had to clean house. We fired everyone. We fired everyone. That's basically what happened there. But there's allegations that we put McDonald's bags with money in them and gave them to recruits. Yeah, all that's out there. But we don't deserve a postseason bowl ban. Now, by the way, the NCAA is a eunuch. They won't give us a ruling on this until 5 years from now because they have absolutely no teeth and can't do anything. But what they should do, and what Tennessee should do to save themselves some face, is dock themselves some scholarships and impose a postseason bowl ban this year. You know that you were wrong. The investigation was there. I mean, really? You expect us to really believe you don't deserve a postseason bowl ban? Get out of here with that nonsense. Under that logic, if you're going to a bowl game this year and all of that's going away, then you should write a check to Jeremy Pruitt. You can't have it both ways, Tennessee. Figure it out. It's insane when you really stop and think about it. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us today here on the Rundown. I also thought I would talk a little bit about the Florida Gators. Now, I could tell you boring things you probably already know from your cell phone, like Jason Brown's going to be the starter for South Carolina, yet in case you missed it. He's going to get the chance to go out there and prove that he is worthy of being an SEC starting quarterback. How will he do? I don't know. I have no clue. Baylor Man Online says, throws the mustard bottle. Very good, sir. Very good. I don't know how well Jason Brown's going to do. You can call up and ask me about that, but I don't really know. I know he was what? He had 2 interceptions in his last game. Coach Beamer said that, hey, that's like first game jitters, etc. I don't know. Here's what I do know. They are playing a Florida team that is a dumpster fire. But you want to know how I think Florida fell from the ranks of, last season, they beat a Georgia team that was better than they are on paper. Better players across the board. Georgia fans still get upset about that. They'll want to blame the young man that lacks height at quarterback. I know. Spare me the calls on that. I don't want to hear that. But there is, let's see here. I've got the line from last season. Why is my stuff? Okay, here we go. So the debacle with Florida and how they've kind of falling from national relevance has to start pretty much with this comment from Dan Mullen.
Could you see what was going on in the field? Because we couldn't even see, like, from where we were.
Oh, with the fog?
Oh, yeah, we couldn't see.
Yeah, I could see it.
What did you see with Marco Wilson's decision?
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't know. I guess that's a penalty. I have no idea what happened. I didn't see it. So, you guys probably, I don't know. Did you guys see it? I don't know.
Yeah, you threw a guy's shit.
Okay.
That is, in my opinion, the start of the demise of the Florida program, and may have been the start of, hey, Dan Mullen's going to be looking for a new job. It seems like I've been beating up on Florida all week, but the more and more that you pay attention to them, you realize Dan Mullen is a goofball. He really is. It's a mess when you really stop and think about it, but there are a lot of things that are going against them right now. They're 4-4 in the SEC, 2-7, and has not passed 9 games against the Power 5. That is not a very good thing. You don't want that on your resume. So the shoe game with LSU, remember this now. LSU came into that knowing they weren't going to a bowl game. They came into it basically, I think I read 52 scholarship players. Remember, Florida had a Heisman finalist at quarterback. Kyle Pitts, who's doing great things in the NFL right now. That was one of their big tight ends. They were playing for the SEC championship game. They lost to a shorthanded 3-5 LSU team that was starting a freshman quarterback, and the guy launched a shoe, and Dan Mullen could see through the crowd, but he couldn't see the shoe. That's a little bit of a silliness there. Now, Mullen, by the way, was 29-6 at Florida entering that game. He was tied with Urban Meyer and better than Steve Spurrier in that set. He's been 4-7 since then. You go to the Cotton Bowl. That's the next step. Of course, they 435 yards rushing to Oklahoma. Oklahoma beats them senseless. We don't have to go too much into that. In the offseason, it seemed like he was like walking around saying, I want to be an NFL coach. Who wants me to coach their program? That's pretty much where they were with that. He didn't really pay attention and try to fix some of the things that are going on with this program, like getting rid of Todd Grantham. In the final 3 games of the season, Grantham's defense gave up an average of 48 points a game. There's that. And, of course, dealing with the quarterbacks this season. Like, he doesn't know who he wants to play at quarterback. We shall see. Megan says, why do I mention LSU's injuries when they beat Florida, but you don't mention UGA? You know what, Megan? Because everything with you is, oh, my goodness, we're injured. Maybe I just get tired of hearing you complain about it when you have one of the best rosters in the country. Maybe you should be happy with what you have. Or if you want to wallow in misery and be upset that you're a fan of the number 1 team in the country, why don't you go be a Vanderbilt fan? Then we can't win an SEC game. this doldrum that you're in all the time. Be happy with what you have, sir. And if I mentioned injuries, did I mention injuries with LSU? I said they were shorthanded. They didn't have enough players there. It wasn't an injury thing. It was a COVID thing. Everybody opted out. That's why they were out. Just saying. We'll get you a Vanderbilt shirt, sir. Because everything with you is doom and gloom. Oh my goodness, we have the best offense, the best defense in the country, but I just feel like we're going to lose. We may lose to Mizzou this weekend. It may happen. Maybe you're just, I don't know, maybe you're used to Florida or to Georgia failing. I don't know. It's like the whole Pavlov's dog thing. I don't know. That's on you, though, sir. That's you as a fan, not me. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown this afternoon. Of course, Jason Brown is getting the start at quarterback for South Carolina. We'll see how he does. You know, Shane Beamer's been dealing with this is his third starting quarterback. You have to go with what you got. But I don't think he was very confident in the ability of the other quarterbacks in the quarterback room, which is probably shown why Jason Brown hasn't been able to play. He's kind of been forced to play Jason Brown. Brandon with another good point. You've got Mizzou without Conor Basilak. He has a soft tissue injury. Strap up. You got to go, young man, whoever the number 2 is at Mizzou. I have to look up to see who the number 2 is at Mizzou. I have to find that out. But Conor Basilak was a pretty good quarterback. And it's one of those things where I've had to moonwalk my way out of it because I thought he was going to be the second best quarterback in the SEC East. I really did. He has regressed. And you have to put that on Eli Drinkwitz, who's supposedly a guy that can put together offense. The one thing that he does is he's been able to, and Georgia fans get to know this name, the only threat that they have on offense. And I'm sure that your defense will be able to handle it. But the only guy on that offense that can actually potentially do anything against the Georgia defense is Tyler Beatty. Beatty is a great running back. Great running back. So I don't think he'll do much tomorrow because that's all that Mizzou has. But we shall see. All right, we'll take your calls at 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us here on the rundown. Jay asked, would I rather wear a C hat or a medium t-shirt? Thank you for that, Jay. That's funny. Brandon says Mizzou has been just as disappointing as South Carolina has been this year. You know, Gamecock fans should be rip roaring, man. Because if there's going to be a game where your offense takes off, it's next week for sure. We'll have plenty of time to talk about that next week. But Mizzou's defense is really, 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 really bad. I mean, really bad. And they're bad even when they're trying, and they're just not trying anymore. Steve Wilkes, their defensive coordinator, is not very good. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Around the world on the iHeartRadio app. We'll take calls here when we come back. Thanks to the folks downloading the podcast. For some reason, I'm learning people listen to the podcast on the weekend. They'll catch up and then they'll message me on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Wait a minute, you said this or you said that? Yeah, I did. It's like they have like this, like they expect me to be in real time with something I say on Tuesday that it's going to come true on Saturday. I don't know about that. Bible Belt Beauties with a comment online. Tommy Bowden to LSU. Yeah, okay. That won't last long down there. More of the rundown here on Fox Sports Radio 1400 in just a moment. A C minus hat? I don't know what that means. I'm assuming what you're saying is funny, Jay. I read everybody's nonsense. If I don't read comments, then everybody gets mad at me. Half of y'all hate me anyway. I have one Clemson hat. Oh, okay. I have one Clemson hat. And it's just a standard like orange hat with a tiger paw on it. I look like a hillbilly when I wear it, so I don't wear it that often. Eight zero 1832 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Kind of a cool day outside. It's like football weather outside now. If you go to a game now, and like, especially if you go to a game at Williams-Brice or up at Death Valley, you sit on those seats. They may not be actually hot right now. So there you go. Be a nice, cool game tomorrow night. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you would like to join me on the rundown. If you want to just take shots at me, go and join the chat room. Jay says every good sci-fi movie needs a Pillsbury Doughboy. Thank you for that, Jay. I appreciate those words of wisdom today. Those nice and lifting words on a Friday. 803-978-1832. 803-978-1832 is the number to call if you'd like to join us here on the rundown. We're going to have picks against the spread in just a moment. Actually, a little bit later on. Some of these games are may have some upsets this week. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, this is the Biscuit.
What's up, buddy?
So, hey, listen, I need to figure this out. How, like, you're in the ACC. Just because you're in a conference that has Duke, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia Tech in it, doesn't mean that Clemson has increased social status. I don't know where you get off thinking, like, you keep referencing SEC lower back tattoos, like Clemson is socially so different from all those other campuses.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
You're 30 minutes from Athens. What are you talking about? You're the most SEC program not in the SEC.
Okay.
So, I don't understand this reference, this redneck kind of lower back tattoo reference.
It's not a redneck reference to lower back tattoos. They have them up in Mizzou too. That's not redneck land. You know that.
Well, there's not rednecks in Mizzou.
I don't think so. Times I've been.
There's rednecks everywhere. There's rednecks in Ohio. What are you talking about? What I'm saying is why do you think that Clemson socially is so above the rest of the SEC?
It's not an issue of Clemson. It's an issue of the way that the SEC fans feel about the SEC. Like football was beginning and ends in the SEC, and in reality, a lot of times it doesn't. That's
yeah. But what is the lower back tattoo reference?
The lower back tattoo reference comes down to the folks in Birmingham that think that Alabama does everything, and they all have lower back SEC tattoos. It's more of a shot at Alabama than the SEC.
You haven't used it as a shot at Alabama. You used it as a shot against the SEC like 10 times. in the past probably 3 weeks. So
it's a reference I normally make towards Alabama because I think that the SEC office is run by Alabama, and they'll let Auburn and sometimes LSU get into the mix, but that's just the vibe that I've got.
What is that based on?
The way that it just seems like, especially on the football front, we're always supposed to think that Alabama's the absolute greatest. Little things like that.
How you're supposed to think they're the greatest because they've won 6 national championships in 12 years and have the best head coach in the history of football.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even when they're a little off, we're supposed to think they're the greatest. Like now, I think that this year Georgia's team is better than they are, but the vibe that you get is, Alabama is right there. I don't really think so.
Well, they're still in there. I mean, they're still certainly in there. They still have an argument.
Okay.
I mean, we're not. When they fall off, a fall off is losing 2 games.
Okay. What else you got?
No, all right, we can move on anyway. So just to let you know that Conor Basilak, I don't know if you knew this, he's not starting. He's injured.
Oh, I know. I mentioned that with Brandon, and I said I don't know who the backup is for Mizzou. So that's why I was talking about
they're starting a true freshman. I don't either.
Yeah, I was talking about at the beginning of the season, I thought Basilak was going to be probably the second best quarterback in the East. And I had to moonwalk that back because he has regressed and hasn't really done what I thought he was going to do. He looked great last year, but this year he just doesn't look very good at all.
Yeah, offensively, they're pretty good offensively. They're really bad defensively. I think the reason why the spread is at where it's at, as opposed to, normally in a game like this, you would see like a 28 or a 25-point spread. I think the reason why the spread is at 39 is this. When Georgia's played other opponents, Kentucky, I think Kentucky bared down and was content to run the football, realizing that they weren't going to probably win the game, but try to keep the score closer, hence 30-13. Whereas I think Missouri's pattern is this: they actually are. A lot of people think they're a pass first team. They're actually a run first team, and when they can run the football, that gets their passing game going. If their running game drops and they can't run the football at all against Georgia, they're going to throw every down, which results in mistakes and short possessions. And I think that's where Las Vegas thinks that, they're going to have 3 and outs and 30-second drives, and Georgia's going to get probably 12 or 13 possessions versus 8 or 9 like they did against Kentucky.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And I mentioned Tyler Beatty, their running back. I mean, he is an electric type of player, but if he's not going, then their offense is stagnant, especially without Basilak. So,
if you look at them statistically, whenever they get to the point where they're throwing the football 40 times, they fail and lose. Whenever they can keep their passing down under 30, around 30, maybe mid-30s, they seem to succeed and win. So that's basically
in reality, isn't that kind of the way it is across college football? I mean, if your quarterback's throwing 40 times, it's generally not very good. I mean, some teams can make it work, like Mississippi State does. But but other teams really don't. I mean, they want their quarterback. I think a coach wants his quarterback to throw between 25 to 30 times at the most.
Yeah, but like when we've seen recently, and maybe we don't have one this year, the more elite offenses like the LSU from 2019, they throw the ball all over the place. I mean, you have to have some semblance of a running game, no doubt, but you do. They do tend to throw 40 plus.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that, but I think that most coaches want the 25 to 30, but and even when you look you look back at some of the Clemson teams, like Deshaun Watson, the most yards he ever had in a game, he threw for almost 500 yards against Pitt, threw the ball like 50 times, and Clemson lost. Like Clemson record for attempts, Clemson record for yards in a game, but he lost. But he would go out and throw the ball 30 times, they'd put up 50 points. So, I mean, I use that as an example. I think that coaches, they want that. Most coaches want to run the ball more, to be honest.
Yeah, well, like I said, you have to have some semblance of a run game. But all
right, over under for tomorrow with Stetson Bennett, if he plays, because we don't really know what Kirby Smart's going to do. He may trot JT Daniels out there. I don't know. I'm not mocking. I'm just saying I don't know. But Stetson Bennett tomorrow, over under 15 passes attempted.
Attempted. I'll go over.
Wow, you think
I think they're gonna try. Yeah, I'll go over 15.
I mean, I'm not mocking him. I just think that's a solid number. I mean, generally he could go 12 for 15 and Georgia wins by 40. Seriously, with the running game and the defense. So
no, he's had game. Well, I mean, against Florida, what was it? He threw 19, I think, against Florida.
Yeah,
but 15. I think he'll hit around 20 if he plays.
Yeah,
I'm hoping he'll get some play time, no doubt.
Okay,
but I don't know if he'll.
If Daniels plays, do you think he'll attempt 20 passes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I think their offense is different. I think he'll throw at least 25.
That has to be tough for the offensive lineman. Wouldn't you agree? Like having to basically be ready for two different quarterbacks. I mean, because obviously Daniels is different than Bennett. You have to respect the offensive line for being able to be fluid with both quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I think the play calling would be a little different. I think they would throw on first down in some cases, whereas with Bennett they'll play more conservatively. But I don't think it's that drastic. I don't think you're talking about 10 more snaps. That might be a passing play or a play action pass versus a running play. I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, it should be tomorrow's matchup should be boring. Like the Georgia
not
game.
For me, not for a fan.
Well, but I'm just saying for folks like I got to keep up with all the games for my pregame stuff over across the hallway, and it's like, yeah, I mean, I'll be watching that, but it'll be on it may be on the iPad over on the other side of the room to start to see if Daniels is going to start, and then after that it'll be like, yeah, okay.
Well, Georgia's left tackle's out for a couple weeks now.
I read that, and then I read about I posted about the story with the rape allegations. Yeah, with Adam Anderson. Yeah. I don't like talking about that stuff I
don't either.
Because the reality is that the only people that really know what happened are the two people that are in the room, and I don't want to take anything away from the young lady where something may have happened to her. And me speculating here is silly. So the best thing to do is
I agree with you.
I
actually appreciate that because I thought the same thing. I'm actually tired of hearing about it, and it's like, what else are you going to say or do?
Yeah, let the police
if he did it, then
let the police.
If he did it, then he deserves what he gets. If she's lying, then that's horrible. Yeah, and there's no one else that can really talk truth about that except the people involved. So
the cool part is that we'll figure it out, and we'll have something that'll come from it, and then we'll go from there. That's I don't like
Georgia. We'll slide Nolan Smith over, and we'll let him play that, and they'll move another inside linebacker onto the field, or Robert Beal will play some. That's probably how they're going to handle it.
I don't think it'll affect the Georgia defense much. I mean, I think
he's pretty elite, though, man. He's a first-round draft pick. I mean, he's a wicked pass rusher. So it will. I think it will affect a little bit. Maybe not in this game, but it would be noticeable probably in a game like against Alabama.
Well, that's what I'm saying, down the line. But in this game, it's not going to matter. It's really not. Mizzou was terrible. I mean, really bad. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your call, buddy. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, Producer Biscuit joining us on the program, taking me to task for things, and I'm fine with that. Brandon asked if I ever think Deshaun Watson will play in the NFL again. Yeah, I do. I think it's going to cost him money, but I do. Take a quick break. We'll come back in just a moment. This is The Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Shout out to Thrills Mills. What are the picks for this weekend? All winners, Mills. All winners. Watson's just going to have to take his medicine. If you look at all of the Instagram stuff, it's like, oh, wow. I mean, he was literally, let's find the hottest massage therapist online and we'll fly her into Houston. No, man, you can't be doing that. That's not good at all. You're exactly right. They were not.
It's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword bag to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply to this nationwide contest. That's bag to 200-200.
Hi, this is Dan Patrick, and here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network, presented by Mercedes-Benz.
The Hurricanes are the NHL draft. They made an undefeated team. The Panthers host the Patriots Sunday every day.
Who wouldn't? I'm not paying for it, though. To hell with that.
Daring, safe, stylish, sporty. The 2021 sedan family checks everything except inside the box. Check out the one-of-a-kind vehicle.
My niece calls hoop earrings ho hoops. Big earrings. She calls them ho hoops. First time she did that, I laughed hysterically. Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Let's go out to the phones and welcome into the program. Good afternoon.
Rob, I'm actually going to
Oh,
come
wait,
clean.
hold on. Since you're here, hold on. I've got special music for you. Hold on. There we go. Go ahead and tell us how bad your team is. We've got all these players out, but they've got 5 stars behind them now. They're all supposed to be He is
Rob.
so butthurt that he has 5 stars back in those 5 stars. You're supposed to feel bad. He's got the number 1 team in the country, and they're winning the Stetson Bennett. Almost had a quarterback that's a 5-star player, and you're all doing quarterback. You're supposed to feel bad. You're upset that you got a guy with a chip on his shoulder down there. It's good for the number 1 ranking. You're supposed to feel sorry. I feel really bad. Go ahead.
Are you done being a 7-year-old?
I'm not being a 7-year-old. I feel bad for you. We all are so much. You should not be a fan of the number 1 team. It just
By the way,
so sad.
that number 1 team in the country with all those 5 stars, they played in the SEC, quote unquote, right? First of all, you know good and well Kentucky is a powerhouse football program, sir.
Do I need to go to the bookcase of accountability with things you said about Kentucky? Please don't go down that road. Continue with your call, sir.
There's a brilliant caller who's made us all aware how strong Kentucky is at football now. So we all know who we're talking about.
He's on a milk carton right now. I haven't seen that guy in forever. Seriously.
He probably fell down a coal mine out there in the hills of Kentucky. Listen, far be it from me to defend you when Biscuit calls you. He's normally on point. But the problem is I'm an SEC fan. I actually do have an SEC lower back tattoo. So, yeah, it's just above the Blondie tattoo, by the way. So anybody out there wants to kick, just hit me up on Facebook. We'll show it to you. Look, here's my point. I know you made fun of me whining, but there are always guys on a championship team that you cannot lose. And like, take last year's Alabama team. If they lost Mac Jones, you really think they win the national title?
They lost Jalen Waddle, who was supposed to be like the absolute best thing ever, and they rebounded and were great.
He wasn't their best receiver even, though, Rob.
debate that.
Devontae Smith was better than he was. But and look, if Auburn lost Cam Newton, you think they would have won that title? No. You know, I could say the same thing about Trevor Lawrence or ETN. So it still matters whether you want to run your trap about nonsense or not. That stuff still does matter. There's certain guys you absolutely cannot lose. But I will say this on the whole controversy with Adam Anderson for Georgia. You're right about not discussing it. There's really no good that can come from you or I getting into the weeds about that stuff when the allegation is what it is.
None of us were there. That's basically it. None of us were there. So
none of us were there, and nothing good can come from starting to speculate about it. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
You're only going to infuriate somebody on either side of it. So you just leave it alone. But the bottom line is he's not there now. You know, on the football side of things.
That's
so
true.
that is a killer. And I was texting back and forth with a buddy from Athens not 3 days ago, and we said we wonder when this situation was going to come up, and here it is 3 days later. That's how useful
I mean, every day with him, it's, oh my God, we're great, but something they shoot us in the foot. I don't know where. I don't know. We have that 5-star guy. We got another 5-star guy. I don't know how. Oh man. Anyway, 803 803 978 1832 803 978 1832. Yes, that is the sad music from Platoon. Simply because poor Megan, he may literally cry if Georgia wins out and wins the night. He may cry. He may cry. He's just waiting to like get kicked in the face, though. It's pretty much. He even said that. Pretty sad. 803-978-1832. We're going to pick games when we come back. Final segment of the rundown. When we come back here on Fox Sports Radio 1400, we have picks against the spread. We'll do that. Last week, I picked 10 games and I went 6-4. That's pretty. It's not bad, but it's not really good either. The week before, I was 8-2. So we'll have 10 games for you. We'll have those for you in a moment. Thanks for checking us out here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. We'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to the rundown. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the program, sir.
I'm tired of hearing begging, and whine.
Well,
But listen,
he, you know what, sir? He needs to be a little bit more like you because you're confident about Florida, even when they are dog poo.
Losing.
You're still telling me, "Oh, we're going to win next week." Megan
Yes.
needs to take that from you. You, sir, are someone he can look up to. I believe
well,
that.
see, Georgia surely losing. They won't win a national championship. It won't happen. And I'm gonna love every bit of it. I'm gonna love every bit of it.
All right.
Tomorrow's game.
Yeah.
Florida won't win by no 18 or no 20 points. I say if they win, it'll be 14.
Okay.
I just don't see it.
You don't
They're not
see
gonna
it?
win by 20. No.
Yeah. All right.
They'll do something to mess up. Interception or something. They'll do something to mess up.
Now you sound like begging Megan.
No, I'm just saying. I know the Gators. That's what's going to happen. I mean, we just playing. We ain't got nothing to play for. We're 4-4.
Yeah. Okay.
500 ball club,
Fair enough.
and that don't sit good with me.
Well, if it doesn't sit good with you, then you think there's some changes need to be made, or are you still riding
Yeah.
the Mullen train?
Some changes should have been made last year, as the defensive coordinator should have been gone, as well as the linebacker coach should have been gone.
Well, that maybe Mullen won't try to go out and be an NFL coach this
Well,
winter.
if he would have stayed to his program, start trying to do that last year, concentrate on what he had and what was in front of him, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in now.
This is the most negative I've heard you about the Florida Gators in years, sir.
I mean, it just what it is. What it is.
Fair enough.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Okay.
There you go. Hollywood making his appearance where it's the first time he hasn't said, we're going to roll. We're going to roll. Wish I had the pipes that I could do that. I don't have them, though. All right, let's look at some games, ladies and gentlemen. We'll start with Auburn at Texas A&M. Line's at like 4.5 right now. Actually, we'll go back out to the phone. Oh, they went away. All right, 4.5 right now for that game with Texas A&M. Line started out at like 6.5. I like Auburn at 6.5. There you go with that. I think that Auburn will keep it close, and I think that A&M will pull it out late. Virginia Tech and Boston College. Virginia Tech, that game is tonight, by the way, your Friday night special. Virginia Tech is a 3-point favorite at Boston College. Give me Boston College. Both teams aren't really, they're kind of floundering right now. Tomorrow, 11:30 start. I'm actually looking forward to this game. I like games with the service academies. Army and Air Force. Air Force is a 1-point favorite to open up. Army's really good with Jeff Modkin as their coach. But Air Force, I think, will win this game. They'll pull away late. Other games, NC State and Florida State. Man, this game used to mean something a long time ago. If you're a Clemson fan, you're cheering for NC State tomorrow, but Florida State, they got kind of gut punched last week by the Clemson Tigers. Will they be able to actually bounce back and take care of NC State at home? NC State's a 2-point favorite. I think I'm going to go with NC State. I like that. Clemson and Louisville. Clemson is a 5-point favorite at Louisville. I am taking Louisville. Why? Because I'm not convinced the Clemson offense is just is right yet. It just seems off, to be honest. The optimistic person will tell you, well, the kicker missed 3 field goals last week. That game shouldn't have been close. Yeah, and you're right. You're right. But the other side is that you would hope that you would be able to convert some of those field goals into touchdowns. But Clemson is a 5-point favorite. Give me Louisville in the 5, but I think Clemson may pull it out and win by 3. Indiana and Michigan. Michigan's a 17-point favorite. They're going to stomp Indiana. Indiana is not a very good football team. Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern. Give me the Chanticleers minus 19 as they continue to roll. Let's see here. Kansas and Kansas State. Kansas State is a 24-point favorite. Only thing that grows in Kansas is, sunshine and sunflowers and sons of something else. So, but Kansas State, I think they'll cover the 24 because Kansas is not very good at all. Temple and East Carolina. I like East Carolina minus 15. I'm just saying. I don't think that's I think East Carolina is going to roll over Temple. Liberty and Ole Miss. I like Liberty to go in and cover the 15.5 was the opener. It's actually down to 9.5. So the Hugh Freeze Bowl, I think he's one of those guys where he's going to hold it against them. Remember, he went to Liberty and he found Jesus. That's what happened. I'm not mocking. He went to Liberty and found Jesus, and he's a better person now. He'll tell you that. And I think he's going to roll down there with the folks from Liberty, and they're going to play well against Ole Miss. I really believe that. Baylor and TCU. Baylor is a 6-point favorite in this game. Now, if they win this game, they go into the matchup with Oklahoma next week as a one-loss team, and that's kind of for the top spot in the Big 12. So maybe they'll overlook. TCU, of course, fired Gary Patterson. Where's their team going to be? I'm rolling with Baylor. I think Baylor will cover the 6. Oregon State and Colorado. Give me the Beavers minus 12. Colorado has not been very good this season as well. Missouri at Georgia. Missouri is a couple of notes on this. Missouri is 0-8 against the spread this year. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to stretch it to 1-8. Give me Georgia minus 39. And South Carolina at Florida with Florida. Give me the Gamecocks minus 20. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the rundown. Hello. Oh, we'll hang up the phone then. Fair enough. Ohio State and Nebraska. Ohio State is a 15.5-point favorite. Nebraska is a little bit better than people think they are. I think Ohio State wins by 10, but Nebraska will keep it somewhat close for the game there at home. Mississippi State and Arkansas. I like Arkansas is a 5-point favorite in that game, but I kind of like Mississippi State to pull out the win. More post-game press conferences with the Pirate. We need more of those. I want someone asking him about his turkey, the way he likes his turkey at Thanksgiving, all of that. All right, let's try the phones one more time. Welcome into the program. Good afternoon. All right. It's your turn to talk. Okay, well, nothing for the show. Have a great day. I don't like ending it like that, but got about a minute and a half before we get out of here. Let's get another couple of picks in. Oh, Tennessee and Kentucky. Give me Tennessee plus 5. That line has swung so much, and it's like Tennessee's actually favored by 1 now, but they were a 5-point underdog to start. I'll take Tennessee plus 5. Blake says, ask Leach about how he likes his cranberry sauce. I don't think he eats cranberry sauce. Just a thought. Auburn and we already did that game. Let's see if there was one other one here that was in the mix. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like those. There you go. So there are our picks. I mentioned that Mizzou is 0-8 against the spread. Clemson's 1-7. 1-7. Think about that against the spread. Not very consistent at all. Mizzou cashes out every week, man. You could have made yourself a fat Christmas bonus by now, just betting against Mizzou every week against the spread. 0-8. Only Power 5 team in the country that has not beaten the spread one time. So, wow. All right, so don't forget our best Gamecock coverage across the hall on the 103.5 FM WVOC Facebook and Twitter page if you want to follow the stream there. In addition to, if you want to just listen, the iHeartRadio app. We'll be doing pregame and postgame tomorrow, starting at 4 o'clock, 3 hours before kickoff. We'll roll until it's time to kick off for Florida and, of course, South Carolina. Postgame show with myself and Tim Frisbee and Justin Hall. Thanks for hanging out with me this week. Enjoy the games over the weekend. We'll see you on Monday. All right. Appreciate you guys, man. You guys have a great day. I do have enough cartoons calling.